Alright, welcome back. This is a part 2 of this video. In the previous video I mentioned that I had some angle position indicators. These are synchro-driven devices that connect right to the axes of the gyroscope, and they indicate numerically the angle and minute of angle in degrees. And to recap, there are 60 minutes in an angle, in 1 degree of angle, so they're fractions of a degree. Very useful for when you're trying to troubleshoot or dial in a gyro to perfectly level. You need that kind of precision to do that, otherwise you're basically guessing. Okay, so what are these command bars that I mentioned? I'll show you again what they look like. This is the first time I've had these active. Now, this is called a flight director. Now, a flight director, originally I thought it was kind of a cute name. I just thought it was a marketing thing. It sounds cool, you know, flight director. But it's actually a classification of instruments and another avionics system that has a very specific purpose, and it's called that for a very specific reason. A flight director functions as a way to indicate to the pilot where their programmed heading and direction and certain maneuvers should be, how they should be executed. And the command bars will indicate that. Now there's a different computer, there's a steering computer as it's called. So as on my understanding, you would dial in your heading and you might dial in your altitude, your desired altitude. So say for example, you're at one cruising altitude and you want to reach another cruising altitude and a different direction. That would involve an altitude climb or descent. And you could very well program that to have the autopilot do that for you. And in those situations, the command bars would indicate on the indicator those maneuvers by moving these bars around in a fashion. And I'll show you what it looks like here. So you can see as I move the bars up and down, think of this would be as if the computer was showing the pilot, hey, you need to reach this altitude to climb. Ignore the glide slope there, that's just me. I had tied them together, so I'll go ahead and disable that since it's not relevant. It has no direct connection to what we're doing about here, about the command bars. So let's say, for example, you've programmed in a new altitude. That comes from the computer, and it would indicate your climb. And if you were doing this and flying it manually, what you would then do, you would then go and increase your pitch, and the bars themselves would then keep track of your ascent, and eventually you would meet those command bars. I'll show you what that sort of looks like. So it would be something like this. So this would basically tell you this is how you would know if you're on track with what the computer wants you to do. And let's say, for example, you're leveling out now. So the command bars are coming down. You would then pitch down to basically meet the bars. And then back to level. Now you also have a roll. I'll simulate that with a switch. So you can see here, the command bars also work on this axis. So if for some reason part of your maneuver requires you to roll, let's just say we need to roll this way, you could then do that to meet the roll. I'm on the ground, so it's barking at me. But that's basically it. Hence the term command bars. They are commanding the pilot to execute a maneuver, or to show how they would actually carry out that maneuver. So I'm hitting a switch here that basically gives me voltage control of the vertical and the horizontal or roll axes. Normally it'd be a combination of both. You wouldn't be doing one at a time. The computer would have control of both axes, but since I don't have that computer, I have to do it this way. So, and again, if you programmed your maneuver into the autopilot, this would all happen. The autopilot would take over, and you wouldn't have to fly it manually. But if you did want to fly it manually, these bars would come into play and show you what maneuvers to execute. Hence the term flight director. It is worth noting, though, that while these bars will indicate your pitch and your pinch up or pinch down, the roll, I believe, is more of a indicator to turn left or turn right. I don't believe it's you have to roll. Yeah, I believe you can use make a coordinated turn and use your rudder. I just believe this is indicating that, hey, you need to go right versus left. So the command bars are really just designed, think of them as just kind of helping guide the pilot when flying manually. It doesn't need to be a literal match the exact angle. I think it can, but I don't think that's a requirement. So just wanted to clarify that. And the reason why they swing out of view like that is because the flight director, like any other system, can be turned on and turned off within reason, but because it's tied to the autopilot system, you might not have that engaged, and so in a condition where you don't have it engaged, they just swing out and they're out of the way. I have them down just for illustrative purposes here. And as you've seen, I was messing around with the Glideslope. I will plug that back in. I just have, again, the same things tied together here. But I'm going to go ahead and unplug. The command bar, so we simply have Glideslope. So we've covered the command bars. I think what I want to do now is show you the below Glideslope and the flap override situation as it relates to the GPWS. I'll go ahead and end this video here, because again, it's getting a little long here. We're about 8 minutes in, and I'll touch on that in the very next video. So thanks for watching, and I'll be right back.